Ivy Odom, a test kitchen professional in the Southern Living Test Kitchen, and this is What's Cooking with Southern Living. Nothing quite brings a Southern family together like an impressive lineup of food. All of our traditional, classic Southern recipes reign supreme at these family gatherings, and classic pimento cheese is no exception to that rule. It is so easy to put together, and it is the best spread in the South. Our very first step for making pimento cheese is grating cheese. Extra sharp cheddar and regular sharp cheddar cheese. I am doing both of those. Very important step. You must grate all of your cheese. You cannot, should not ever use pre-shredded cheese for pimento cheese. Pre-shredded cheese has an anti-caking powder on the cheese to help prevent it from sticking together in the bag. That anti-caking liquid will cause your mayonnaise to not be able to stick to the pimento cheese, and then it's separated and watery and really just not good for a spread. The extra sharp cheddar is going to be grated on the small holes of the box grater, and the sharp cheddar is going to be grated on the regular larger holes of the box grater. The mayonnaise kind of clings to those fine shreds of cheese, and then the thick shreds add a really good pop of flavor. Pimento cheese started to appear in the early 20th century. It was very popular in ladies' tea rooms. That is sort of where we started to see it pop up. Some women entrepreneurs actually made pimento cheese famous. It went from being known just in the South to being sold nationwide. Eugenia Duke from Duke's Mayonnaise sold her pimento cheese in little carts to these farm workers, and they wanted to know what her secret was, and her secret was, of course, her Duke's Mayonnaise, which we know and love today. Traditional pimento cheese was originally made with what we called hoop cheese or rat cheese or mouse cheese, and that was the cheese you used to kind of catch or trap a rat or a mouse. It was sold in wedges, kind of by weight at a general store. Specialty grocery stores do carry hoop cheese these days. I love the flavor of hoop cheese. But if you cannot find it, cheddar cheese is a great substitute. I love the extra sharp and the sharp. That combination kind of mimics the original hoop cheese flavor. I have all of my cheese grated. I am going to grate onion. My preferred onion for this is Vidalia. I just love the sweetness. You could use a yellow onion. I would not use a red onion in this instance. I like to use the small holes of the box grater. You could also use a microplane. You only need about 1 teaspoon of your grated onion, and I have my mayonnaise pre-measured out, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my onion in with the mayonnaise. The next ingredient is the pimento. This is where the pimento of pimento cheese comes in. I am from South Georgia, and I say pimento. It is spelled like pimento, but I don't know any Southerner that says that T. If you're saying pimento cheese, you're not from the South. So a pimento, what it is, it's basically a red pepper, but it's a specific variety of red pepper. It is a very mild, almost sweet red pepper. They roast them or boil them to soften them, and then they slice them and jar them in water. Some are jarred whole, some are jarred sliced, and some are jarred diced. These are the pre-diced kind, and I like to make sure all of my pimentos have been drained from the jar, and then I will mix them in with the mayonnaise, cheese, mayonnaise, and pimentos. I have all of those 3 covered. I also have the grated onion, and then Worcestershire sauce, just enough to give it a really good depth of flavor. And then cayenne pepper. I love the kick of cayenne. It's not too spicy, it's just a little heat that's barely there. This is the most basic recipe for pimento cheese that is out there. You could go really fancy and do all kinds of stir-ins, like other types of cheeses or sour cream. Some people use pecans. You can really get fancy with the way that you make your pimento cheese, but sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this classic basic pimento cheese, to me, is the best one that you will ever eat. Okay, this dressing is looking good, but before I incorporate it into my cheese mixture, I want to check on the What's Cooking with Southern Living Facebook group to see if anybody has any comments on pimento cheese. So let's check it out. Mary Jo Kelly has a very cool story about pimento cheese, so let's read it. Y'all, I think I stumbled across one of the most delightful, simple, and totally Southern sandwiches ever today. I was rummaging around the fridge for our lunch, trying to avoid a grocery trip. I remembered an idea I had seen but never tried for a grilled bacon, pimento cheese, and pepper jelly sandwich. Oh my goodness. Good use for some of my homemade pepper jelly from last summer. I spread one side with the cheese, one side with the pepper jelly on a hot griddle, laid on the bacon, and put it together. It was so good, and it was really, really hard not to wolf it down before I got a picture. For the grand finale of this pimento cheese, stirring together our mayonnaise dressing with our cheese. It looks like it's a lot of mayonnaise for this amount of cheese, but I promise it all comes together. It's a little bit looser when you first stir it together, and it is just delightful after it's sat for at least 24 hours in the fridge. So I would highly recommend making it ahead anytime you want to serve pimento cheese. And that is it. Every shred of cheese is covered in mayonnaise. Specks of pimento are all throughout. All I need to do is plate it up. This makes a lot of pimento cheese, which is great. It's also very giftable. It stays good for about 10 days in the refrigerator, but you're lucky if it lasts that long in my household. I like to serve it with a butter knife or a cheese knife on the side for spreading, with an assortment of crackers. Really, you can serve this with whatever, but you can't go wrong with a cracker or celery. My personal favorite is a wheat cracker with the pimento cheese, so I am going for that. I could sit here, make myself sick on this pimento cheese, and just keep eating it and keep eating it. No family gathering is complete without pimento cheese, the classic Southern spread. So delicious.